Hi, and welcome to Fawns & Porter's Freeform Block of the Month featuring Paintbrush Studios fabrics. Love it. Love all these colors. This is my color trifecta. I'm telling you, I love it. All right, so I am your host, Jenny K. Parks. If you want to know more about me, you can check out my website, YouTube, and Facebook page, Jenny K. Quilts. Today we're going to cover compass block number 3, and I'm going to show you another way to do curved piecing. I've showed you a few in the first few episodes, but I'm going to show you this technique now, and maybe it's a way you could try and see if it works better for you. So here we have our parts that are going to go together. Our cone and our ice cream top, like the ice cream cone, and then that goes along the side, and then we'll put it all together here. And before, when I've been piecing it, I've had this on the bottom and this one on the top, and then I move it around to piece them together. We're going to switch it around this time, and I'm going to have this on the bottom and this one on the top, and we're going to piece them together. So see, we'll rotate it and we'll kind of piece those together. I have still folded these, so I have a really defined fold crease there so that I know when I'm halfway through and making sure everything is just right. So let's take this over to the sewing machine. Okay, I've got it lined up. It's going to look like that. I'm going to put my needle in just at the very beginning of the fabric, rotate it, and then start to sew. If your foot has, and most of them quarter-inch feet do have this, quarter-inch presser feet, it will have a mark saying when you're right at the stitching line and a quarter of an inch in front and a quarter of an inch behind. We're going to try to line up the fabric right at the stitching line, and I'm going to put the needle down, and then I'm going to rotate stuff so it's in the right position. As we progress along, I'll rotate and bring them both together, just like we did before. Now, remember, I'm keeping an eye on where, on the flange of my foot. I'm not watching what's happening at the needle, but that flange there, and you'll see the pieces just kind of merge together like that. Now I can feel the crease. I line it up with the other crease there. As I go, I got a few more stitches to take before I can line that up, I think. Kind of rotate around and just keep moving till you have all the curve together. Well, we're doing good. All right, as I'm getting close to the end here where they both should meet, I'm going to kind of pull on my upper piece a little bit so it comes up a little bit more. Make sure that area is covered. All right. Now, if you haven't been doing it this way, like I said, I'd encourage you to try it. See what's going to work better for you. Now let me press this. Again, I like to press towards the cone, or I'm sorry, towards the ice cream on top of the cone. And this is, it's being picky on me here. I'm going to warm it up just a little bit. And now I'm going to press up. Ah, see, look, this little part is rebelling. So I'm going to flip it over, I'm going to make it go where I want it to go. You want to make sure that when you're pressing that you do a thorough job, that there's not anything folded in the wrong direction or anything like that, because then when you piece it together, it's going to cause a problem. And you don't want to have to go back and forth and do that. All right, so there we are. Oop, there's our little guy. Ready to join with the next one. So as you can see, this turned out a little bit differently than I'm meeting over here. I'm just about right over there. So maybe this is a method that works better on your machine and the way that you do it. So let's put this piece on here. And again, I'm going to sew with the curved piecing unit up so I can see clearly what I'm doing and where I'm going. Helps to avoid mistakes. Let's see how it did. And over here and press. I'm going to press again away from the curve. And what I found, especially when I was pressing these units, is that I didn't quite get this end pressed. I might get, I might have just not had that clean, crisp press. You can see I'm right on the sewing line. I flipped it right over and pressed it in that direction. If you miss that, things aren't going to line up as nicely. So I found that I was having to go back to the ironing board and press some again. And I'm not a fan. I'd rather have it just be ready for me when I'm ready to go. All right, here's another unit, and we're going to put these together. Here's our sections that we need to match. Oh, let me trim off the dog ears. We don't need those right now. They're not going to help. And because I pressed all away from the cone, then these are going to snuggle in together as I put them together. So here's the line I want to sew on, and I want these guys to snuggle into each other. Now I can feel it. I'd like it not just a visual cue, but I'd like you to be able to feel that and feel when there's a bump and when there's not a bump there. And I can feel that. That is right on the money. I love it. Love it, love it. So I'm going to start sewing here at this intersection. And sometimes you can get, if your seam is going the other way, just watch that you don't flip it over, because especially in these tight corners, you don't want it flipping over on each other and causing extra bulk. We're trying to reduce some of that bulk in the middle. All right, sew this together. And then again, I line it up a little bit as I go along. It's going to come together beautifully.